Would companies even be interested in a game that tries to exist outside of the Tetris Company's purview? Is Tetrio safe in Tetris Company? In general, like, Tetrio is safe from TTC because they don't really have legal grounds to go after us. In terms of game mechanics, like, you can't trademark or copyright, like, block stacking. Basically, when TTC goes after things like Tetra Online, they take down a bunch of kind of Tetris-like games. The reason they can do that is not because they actually have a legal case for it, because they just go to Steam and they say, hey, take down this game, it's infringing. And like, Steam's not gonna do shit about it. Steam is not going to hold a fair trial or anything. They're just gonna be like, yes, sir, and they fucking take it down. Because of that, like, it's a lot harder for them to bully out a game that isn't hosted on a platform that they can, like, run to. And so they would actually have to, like, go through a legal process to take down Tetrio, which is not something that they are favored to win. That being said, right, like, if we were to release Tetrio on the App Store as like a mobile version or something, that wouldn't be safe from TTC. They would like go after it pretty fast. That would get taken down. And if we put Tetrio on Steam, it's like a similar deal. How dare you make a game with pieces with lateral and downward movement? Feels like TTC doesn't actually care about making a good game anymore. It's not really like TTC's job to make a good game. The problem is that Tetris is objectively like one of the best-selling games of all time. And because of that, they charge like a really high licensing fee for Tetris, but it's not actually worth the money. It's just artificially inflated by Tetris being Tetris. Real game developers that like want to make a good game will look at that and say like, okay, do we want to make a Tetris game? And then they see that they have to pay like $20 million or $15 million for the license. They just don't want to do it, right? Companies that do want, or that does appeal to, would be like Play Studios or a network who kind of want to grift it in some way, right? So Play Studios with like My VIP and stuff, or Tetris Prime Time with their sort of like game show to benefit off of the Tetris name. That's the only thing that it's worth. The reason why a good game can't come out of that is because the license is so exorbitantly expensive. Tetris Effect is actually kind of a miracle. Enhanced took a pretty big risk by paying for the license. If they didn't exist, like, I'm not sure if anyone else really would. If the licensing fee is so high, why make an official TTC game? That's pretty much what it is. Unless you have some way to benefit off of the Tetris name or the Tetris branding, because that's what you're paying for, right? You're paying for branding. You're not paying for anything unique. This is the tweet I was looking for. Tetris copyright holder submitted a vague DMCA notice to take down a game on itch.io. We asked them to explicitly list the infringing content of the page to process the notice, and they sent the following. The design and movement of the playing pieces included downwards, lateral, and rotating movement. The individually delineated squares with the pieces. The dimensions of the playing field longer than it is wide. This shit is so funny. I love this tweet. Cause like, bro, what? Yeah, you can't copyright gameplay mechanics, right? Well, I mean, you can't copyright game mechanics, but you can bully platform owners. I get it from the companies, but wouldn't TTC benefit from a real fast Tetris game? Like, shouldn't they want this to happen without charging 50 million? If it were to be, like, seen as profitable, like, if they were a games company, yes, but before that, there's, like, a ton of other things that they could do, right? Like, let's say they made a real, true Tetrio competitor. Would that be more profitable? Or they, like, remade Tetris Friends. Like, would that be more profitable than what they already do with licensing to sportswear companies or, like, sock brands and stuff, and trying to squeeze the Tetris name even more? It's not as much of a no-brainer to them, or as it would be for someone who like kind of gets the market, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They're not a game company. That's like saying like, why doesn't fucking Nike make a video game? There's so much room to use the Nike brand in a video game. They aren't a video game company, but like right now they must see that NES Tetris is huge. Yes, but it's like, it's a game that's already made, and if they make a new game that's not gonna have the history of NES Tetris, so they can kind of just ride off of it. Yeah, I personally think there's a benefit to them making a Tetrio competitor. I really do, but I don't think that's like within the scope of what they would do, because they make their money off of selling stupidly expensive licenses. Let's say they make Tetrio Official Edition or whatever, right? Like their own version of Tetrio, or they make Tetris Friends 2. Is that gonna make them $5 million in profits? Probably not. If they fucking sell the license to Play Studios, like that's gonna make them that much money. I don't think that TTC is incompetent. I don't. Once you go down this rabbit hole enough, you realize that like they're not like bumbling idiots or anything. They're making money. They're making money in a way that isn't like making the competitive game, right? So that's why I think that like it's up to games like Tetrio to actually do that, because it's a more niche market. They could buy Tetrio, bro. We're not fucking selling. we're not letting go of Tetrio. Me and Osk have talked about this. We're not fucking selling, because this game is gonna become fucking dog shit the second they do. Are you a co-owner of Tetrio? Effectively. The way that the company is structured, I won't go too far into it. It actually can't really have a like co-owner, right? Because it's a sole proprietorship, so it's not incorporated. There aren't shares, but effectively I am. in terms of like the way that the contracts are written and stuff. Who even buys their stuff? Oh, Tetris merchant stuff makes tons of money. Far more than like a game ever would. If you think about why Tetris Friends went down, like why Tetris Friends is dead, it certainly isn't because Flash was dying, right? It was way earlier than Flash being depreciated. It's because it like didn't make money. Bro, I gave TF $0 and had all the skids and DAS. There was also like the Ruby glitch. Z2 Sam would like tell people how to fucking cheat rubies into your account. Bro, maybe we're the reason TF died. Wait, you can buy DAS? Yeah, so how Tetris Friends worked was that you like had to buy DAS and ARR upgrades and like initial hold and initial rotate to actually get your tuning settings. Otherwise they would be really slow. You would have to either grind tokens and then use the tokens or pay for rubies. Or you could do those like swag bucks type free offers. Who the fuck thought that was a good idea? I mean, it's just a product of its time. Really. Yeah, the free offers, dude. I remember the free offers. Occurred to me that the tweet partially fits Puyo and Dr. Mario. Yeah, aside from the square, it certainly does. Anyways, I'm gonna go now. I'll be back next week. Yeah, see ya.